Yeah.
Hello, everybody. We're just sorting out just a little bit on that last end of back end because it was not panic, but it sort of gets to feeling like it's panic in a way because, oops, and I forgot to turn that off. Whoops. Sorry about that. They're really, I do need to actually get a checklist at some point.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Sort that tick, 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 the things that I've done as I'm doing them. So a nice deep breath, because I was playing around with the two cameras. I now have a C920, which is the normal one that I'm looking through that I've used for the last couple of years, and I now have it's down there now, C922, they're just Logitech webcams. And I've been trying to sort out how do I actually get both on a live production, which will be Ecamm, which is a program for Mac. So, that's the techie side, needing to sort out. Haven't done it yet, but things will improve. That going. So, in my little mini panic, because I'd froze the screen and all the rest, I'm thinking, I'm feeling a bit like that. So what I thought we'd do for this morning, and hi, ladies, those who have come on already and put in comments, I'm just going to get my nice trusty flute. Oh, instead of covering my eyes, trusty flute, and we'll just have a couple of minutes playing with this. Now, I was thinking I might just do that so that at least it's not our faces all completely in the screen. You can see, just relax your eyes, relax your energy, and we're just going to have a few moments. It might be a minute or two. Don't know. It depends how much I need to calm that down. That's okay, isn't it, Leanne? Oh, hi, Leanne.
Yeah.
I forgot
sitting here, we're just waiting for the flute. I love the flute.
So
it's one of those days.
Yeah. Oh, well, the start.
It's one of those months.
It is. It's been a flash fun start. Flash. Oh God, yeah, rush.
English.
That one.
Love it.
Play just for a moment. So for those of you who are watching, just relax into it. Oh, do let me know, Leanne, if the sound's just a bit too echoey something, because we didn't do a sound check on this. Okay.
I love the way that resonates through your body. Thank you.
It does. Thank you for allowing me that.
I think we needed it.
I did.
So it's good to stop. That's it. I think it's good for us listening to stop and just breathe and ground ourselves, because it does. It brings us down, and I find it vibrates through my body, and it's just what I've needed today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just run
Yes.
through some of these hellos. So, hi, Alice. Does it just skip straight to the next one if I click it? It does. Goody. Working that way this time. Hi, Nicole.
Hasn't on my screen.
Hasn't.
I've still got Alice up. You might need to click it once more. Yeah. Sometimes
so
it usually should.
What does it actually show on the page? In what is, because I haven't got my thingy on. I turned it off after all. Monitoring the actual video. Are you doing that in the background or not?
I haven't, but I can. I've got Facebook open.
Oh, whoops, and I think by now I can hide our names.
Hey, Leanne.
So that was confusing. I just noticed that there. So, and it's
good afternoon, honey.
So I dare say, Lila, you're somewhere else other than Australia.
I would say maybe Canada or somewhere like that.
And Ashton. Actually, it is actually fun seeing the names of where people are when they're saying their good mornings and good afternoons, isn't it?
Maybe that's what we should ask people to do, is put where you're from at the same time.
Well, we know where this lady is at the moment.
I feel like your breakfast looked really good this morning, hun. I've seen that.
Oh, I don't know if I did see that or not. No, I don't think I did see
that.
New Zealand.
Oh, beautiful. Of course, yeah, because you're about 10 hours, I think, behind. No. Must be 20.
New Zealand is a few hours in front, I think. 2 or 3?
Oh, in front, yes. That's right.
They're on the first country that's this side of the timeline, like in today that we're in, compared to the yesterday that US and everyone else is in. You know, that after. And Donna, hello. Carol, hello. Joanne, okay. And I'm just briefly running through these. We've had Lila and we've had Carol there. So there's not many comments yet coming in, which, for me, I'm not concerned. But do share it out and about, because there might be a time a little later where we do actually answer some questions, whether you've got questions that you want to have answered from loved ones, or I'll be using my Lenormand deck. I've had an interesting weekend around that. I had the lovely Sharon Bremner come visit me for the weekend. And so Saturday evening and Sunday, what we were doing with the cards, I helped her practice and learn the Lenormand cards, because that's what I have here. And I like them. They're my favourite deck at the moment. You know how energy changes and differs and moods and all the rest around that, which you yourself, Leanne, have been talking with some of on your shows around what the energy is, which we'll cover a little bit briefly shortly again, because it doesn't hurt to have too much information at times. Anyway, Shaz and I had spent a bit of time doing some play with the cards, and it was a lot of shuffling and a lot of practice and Googling and looking up, and a lot of it was just to sort of become a little more familiar with the names of the cards that are on the Lenormand. I did look up how to pronounce it more correctly, because I'd been saying one thing, Shaz was saying another thing, so we actually Googled it, looked it up. And there are different ways. There's no one correct one. So long as you are understanding what I'm saying, it doesn't matter, does it?
That's
so
right.
I don't know why that one's coming up. It's the one I've picked up several times. Which way do I go? That way. Fox.
Yep, perfect.
So, and what do you look for? So, I mean, that's the name of it, the card. And lady, and, there's some that instantly, I don't memorise stuff because I haven't got the memory for it. The capacity, I don't want to. It's not something that I do. I don't. So, but we had fun trying it and seeing the different way of doing some spreads. So we're getting pretty good with the grand tableau. So for anyone that would really like a very detailed reading, get in touch with me, and I bet you I can do a really good one. now that we've talked about
They are beautiful
and
cards too.
with anything. When you are not learning something new, because I don't do remember the guidebook and all that stuff, but it's nice to know the card names. So when you're trying to do something new, it gets into being the practice. So
yeah, and a lot of those that have been my students or done workshops with me will hear me say, leave the book in the box or throw it away, use your intuition, because we don't need to remember it. The card tells us through our intuition what it means in that way.
Yeah, and that's what I found with one of the ways that we were practicing. Because she wasn't familiar with that deck of cards, and she likes to actually do things that have not so much the tick list but instructions, and do it this way, and it'll be followed that way, and some of the things that are there as the keywords, for instance, to memorize. I mean, this woman was sort of more espousing. Here's me using my hands.
We can see the top of your hands. Let's do the chicken dance.
Well, it's the float. I got going with them. Just memorising keywords and stuff like that. Handy, I suppose, but it doesn't negate the fact you really got to know that listening to your intuition is the most important part of it, the most important part of it. Really, it is.
It is. Yeah. It really is. Because each card can have a different meaning for a different person. Just different things pop out in that side of it. So, and you got to think about it. The author that made those cards has put their intuition into that picture, that card, sort of, so to speak. But we don't always work the same. We all have our own abilities. So, something else might jump out at you. You might see different things that others don't. So,
yeah, that's right. And we've got some few more hellos too while I'm going through this.
Yeah.
So, hello,
Heather. Beautiful.
Heather, and to Robin.
Hey, Robin. Hope you're well.
Our
your favourite people.
Here's Rachel from
Hey, Rachel. Beautiful.
And then I'm not sure if I don't think I've shown Margaret's. Hi.
Oh, hey, Mum. It's nice to know you're watching.
one day I'll remember, Mum.
Just everybody can call her Mum. She's got many adopted children or children that claim her. Hey, Anna. Hope you're well, honey.
Saying hi. Not sure where Marsha's from. So,
hey, Marsha.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting question. We can pop that one up at the moment. Do we believe in deja vu?
Yes, definitely. I don't know how many people have done things and have had that deja vu feeling but haven't done it in this lifetime. Quite often we can bring the deja vu back from a past life. So, yeah, it's quite incredible.
I know for myself that, here's me, I'll put us as the big picture just then, and I straight away scratch my nose. Duh. As a tip for video and having good quality video and being a host and a guest, it's not a good idea to zoom in so you're scratching your nose. Okay, just a tip. And I was doing that because did I actually put Robin's hello?
No. Yes, we've got Robin's hello.
I had a hello. This is just a comment about the deja vu. I like that. Oh, hi, Mum. That's good.
I can't tell you, I couldn't count the amount of people that over the years have called my mum, this sort of thing. They just, I don't know, Mum's very loving and people attach themselves or find themselves drawn to her. So,
and I'm just going to, whoops, sorry about that. I've just been slightly distracted for a moment just to see if there's any comments on my page, which is the Hypnosis Plus, my business page. What I did this morning was actually to put the fresh link in underneath as a first comment for anyone who does put comments in my Hypnosis Plus. with Roz page. And I'm just checking that because I want to remind people, and the same with yours too, Leanne, as far as the psychic medium with Leanne, Leanne,
Leanne.
psychic medium, and the other pages we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do remember to check that the link that you're on is actually to the mytimetv.live, which will show up in the top of, this is on a desktop because that's what I'm looking at. It shows up that way in the top of what you're looking at, that it's mytimetv.live page. So that's the one you actually need to be in for us to see the comments that you're making. And certainly share, that hitting that share button and things. So,
yeah, beautiful.
And now I'm just trying to scroll back to where the first of comments were going to be. So what is happening with the energy, Leanne? Just remind us a bit again.
Oh my God, what?
You've got a few shows already explaining some of it, but that's a day or two back. And is there anything new that you've seen that's developing with that?
Oh my God. Yeah, what isn't happening with the energy at the moment? I think so many people are being pulled in so many different directions at the moment. As a lot of you will know, we're in, I think it's about the second week of Mercury retrograde, which is very much to do with a technology, a communication. Communication can be very hard, whether we can't speak those words or we are misinterpreting the communication. So you've got to start just giving a little bit more, be a little bit more relaxed with it, so to speak, a little bit more understanding. As I said, communication is playing up something chronic at the moment. It can do with the spiritual sort of side of it is really heightened lately as well. A couple of nights ago, or probably 3 or 4 nights ago now, I was sitting here doing a live and my room was just full of orbs moving around, and spirit is catching my attention in ways that it doesn't normally do it on a higher vibration sort of thing. So we can be feeling really tired. We can feel frustrated. I think a lot of us are finding ourselves doubting ourselves, that negative mindset coming back in. It's really important to acknowledge this stuff when it's happening. Look at the bigger picture. So my first thought is when I start going through things, I look at what's going on with the universal energy. So whether I jump onto Elizabeth Peru's page quite often, because she will give us a summary every day, what's going on, what to expect, and that side of it. I know you can do her subscriptions, but generally you do get a sort of thing with it. If you're into astrology and you understand the maps and the planets and where they all sit and how they affect each other, certainly look at that side of it. I only touch on that. I have no, Roz probably knows more about that side of it than I do. But it's just important to allow this energy to flow, because the more we fight it, the more we're going to get more exhausted, tired, and find it to be more of a struggle at the moment. I woke up this morning and I was doubting myself and I went, hang on, snap out of this. It's a universal energy that's doing it. Replace that thought with a positive thought. And it's quite easy to do when we know we're in that pattern sort of thing. So I want to say, when you're going through things, if you're finding yourself being negative or falling back into old habits, old structures, pull yourself up, acknowledge that you're doing it, and change that with a positive thought. So flip it around and you will find that energy will move quicker, and that you will get that positive energy coming in more so. And that's what we're manifesting at the moment. So if you're putting that positive energy there, you're manifesting that. Okay. So just take note. I think we've only got about another week of this energy with the Mercury retrograde, and then we go into a cleaning up week before we move into the next after that. Okay. So yeah, do the work.
Yeah, all good. When we do sense and intuit what is the energy around us, remember that each and every one of us can do that. It's tuning into your gut feeling for starters. that's really where you'd start, and then you just sit and listen and develop from that. And there are the courses to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
When you said I'd know more about that, probably, what was it you said?
Astrology, the charts.
Because it was funny, as you said that, I was just checking on a message I'd sent to my really good astrologer friend, who is Leanne Marks, who I'm going to have as a guest on Thursday. So she'll be able to update us a bit more probably on some of the energy around the astrology and what the planets are doing, how they're influencing, and all of that.
So did you say Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend people joining in on that, because when you start to understand this a little bit, and Ros and Leonie go through it, you're going to look at things in your life and go, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
And each of the each of our own individual natal charts actually has a very specific meaning for what's in our lives, to be able to discover some of the aspects of ourselves that we weren't even aware of, because it's one of those things that we can't actually take in the whole lot of who we are, the completeness of who we are in an instant. It's impossible for the brain to actually understand it, really. It would be too much overload. So when you sort of go into looking at your natal charts, it's just such a discovery of what aspects there are of you that are actually acting now because of the influence of the planets and those energies that are around it, and whether they're opposing or the different aspects of it. I better not go into it, because Leonie will help more with that understanding than I could.
Yeah.
But it's something I've had an interest in, but not fully developed my learning, because my pathway went slightly different. But isn't it funny how things sometimes return? You know, it's that cycle. It's what you need to complete. Am I going clockwise or anti-clockwise?
You're going anti.
Okay.
Clockwise.
I mean, to me, doing anti-clockwise, of course, it means going backwards, revisiting stuff, which is why Mercury's in the retrograde, is because it appears that it's going backwards in the charts. And that's what retrograde means. And I'm sure Leonie will probably correct me on that one too. Is that how you understand it? Yeah. So,
it is.
Moving forward, the energy is positive, and action going forward, not reflecting and revisiting. It's going forward. Yeah. So where did I get?
I know I started a class on it, but I haven't finished it. It was 12 months ago.
Well, mine was that part of my journey started in 2004. So, and it's from there, it's something that just won't ever end, because it's something you're discovering differently every time you look at your chart, because you're looking at it in relation to what the energy of today is, what the transits are that are happening now. So it's all really interesting, and I'm only just the minutest of beginners. That's what it feels like. None of
you know more than I do.
Yeah. And the other thing too that clicked in my mind as you were talking about it was the orbs. It's when Chaz and I were looking through some of the videos, because so much, instead of Google it, you YouTube it if you want to find out how to do something. So we were watching a few of the YouTubes. And a couple of them. There was one there specifically, and it was to do with the Lenormand deck and how this person was actually teaching it. And there was things flitting across the screen, and I didn't even think about it, because I knew it was orbs and stuff. And Chaz was sort of like, "Could you see that?" I'm thinking, "I see what? Oh, you mean the orb?" And it's that. Because I've been so familiar with it for a fairly long time now, or what seems like a long time, and I've seen that sort of thing for ages, even when I didn't understand what they were. I didn't know they were orbs way back when I was a kid, but it is something that I have seen and been aware of. And, then learning some of the stuff in 2004, 5, 6, and as I progressed.
Yeah.
It's something that is a secondary thing in the mind. It's just, you don't think about it, and And it's interesting when you're pulled up and have to remember, oh, that's just orbs. What's that? What's your understanding of the orbs? Because I have my understanding, and I'm thinking there's times where we forget because we all already think we know it all in some ways. To others, we can be seen as know-it-alls and stuff like that because we're confident in our knowledge, and that's all it is. We've done that learning and integrated it and confident in it. So
Yeah.
I think I've got somebody at my door. I'm not sure whether it's there. I usually put my sign up outside. I'll put one silent if you'd like to do some explaining about orbs.
Yep, you go and check your door. It could be your Milky. Beautiful. So to me, orbs are an energy ball. So spirit can present themselves in a more sort of physical sort of way. So quite often they will put themselves as that round circle with a bit of colour in it that will dash through our photos and stuff like that you normally get it. For me, the other day, the orbs were just floating around because I've got my big ring light behind me on the screen. The back of the room was more darker and they would flash across the cupboard and stuff up here above me. So quite often when we look at orbs, and if you've got a photo with an orb on it on your camera or on your phone, zoom into it. Technology these days allow us to zoom in, so you can actually zoom in to that orb, and quite often you will find a face or something in it. Okay, when I do my readings, especially on my live shows, people are taking photos. I allow people to take photos through my live stage, like John Edwards sort of style, where I read for the crowd. Quite often when people are taking photos around the room or of myself, they will find orbs, and I quite often encourage people do zoom into them, because you will find when you break it down and get closer into that orb, you're going to find there's a face or something in there as well with that. So quite often it's a loved one. You might find that face represents somebody that you know, or one of your loved ones, so to speak. But it's just another physical form that spirit can let us know that they are around us with that. Okay, beautiful.
Yes, and I'm back. Thank you for that, Leanne.
It was good timing.
It was. And it really does reinforce the need to have a checklist and do everything. But it was the postie. So I've got a parcel.
A camera stand?
No, I think that one's actually closed, which is probably a good thing too. Oh, no, hang on. It is a bit rattly.
I was going to say the shape of it.
The prize will be for later. All I need to do is look at who's it from. Oh, that's interesting. There's absolutely nothing about who's it from. Oh, tea tonic. It's my tea. I love the tea. Oh, look, you guys don't mind if I actually open it to you?
It'll be Christmas again. No, come on.
I have actually got my setup, and I might show you that in a sec too. Because this tea is absolutely superb, and I was trying to get it, and I decided in one of my clean-ups that I was actually going to buy it online, and it was a whatever size it was, and I thought, she has a lot of money for it, but it's hard to get stuff sometimes. And
it is.
Holy heck.
Oh, my God, that's a big bag of tea.
Isn't it? It's beautiful tea. I might have to be able to sell that. I got no idea. That's $74 worth. But It's the most beautiful, healthful, gorgeous tea. I love it. And that's why I thought, because I've got a tin, an empty tin, and it reminded me of needing to get some more. So I did. And there weren't small containers besides tea bags, which I didn't want. I wanted the actual brewable tea leaf. So
lovely.
That's what I ended up getting. I'm pleased about that. The next parcel I've got leggings. What I'd try showing you, and it is going to be a bit wobbly. See, that when you said, oh, is it your stand? camera stand. There's one that I've got.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And that clamps to the bench. And when you see like a really messy desk, there's the second one. That's the light.
Yeah.
And then here is the C9. Whoops, I'm trying to move this camera. Sorry about if anybody's motion sickness.
Yeah.
There's the C922. You're being looked at.
Oh, that's creepy.
That's the same as a C920 almost, but that one's facing down so that when I put the cards there, it should show them up without any fuzziness, right?
Oh, nice.
But when I set it up, it was hissing. You know how the phone, when we get the phone added in as well, and it makes that horrible, echoey, horrible noise in BeLive. You have two of those sorts of things in a BeLive back end direct. So I've got to use Ecamm. So that's the explanation of all of that stuff. So they came last week on Thursday or Friday, but I didn't have the chance to play around with them.
Yeah. Can you go into the setting of the camera and turn off the volume?
Oh, yeah, I did all that. It all has a funny hiss. I have read in some of the help things that you can't do it in BeLive. Have the two cameras direct into BeLive. Got to use OBS or something else, you know, all the technical side that no one wants to.
Heather's just saying in the background, I'm waiting on a parcel delivery too today. Beautiful. It's like Christmas. I know when my parcels are coming because I get stock quite often. It's like, by the time they come, it's like I've forgotten what I've ordered.
Yeah, I used to have that happen when I started off on eBay, because I did used to have a little bookstore type set up on eBay many years ago now, and it would be almost like Christmas, wondering which one is it, because it started with me buying stuff first, and then I did a store myself for a short time. Oh dear. Oh, and there's another one. Loves opening parcels. It is fun.
Beautiful. Kristen, when I'm sick of doing it, I'll let you know. You can come and do it for me.
Yeah, when you're moving a lot of stock that you do with your market days and things like that, it's such. I think
it becomes a long process.
It is, and I think too. Oops, I'll go back like that. I think too, when you look at the back end, you know, having done only a little bit of market days where I actually had stock that I was.
Yeah.
Packing up, putting out, putting away, going back home type of thing. And I was doing it by myself. I only did 2 or 3 because I did find, for me, doing it like that with a little gazebo as well and relying on other people to help me when I got there and unpack, you know, and clean up at the end, it was just too much. I couldn't do that. And you do so much with what is the stock that you take to markets, fairs, you know, the expos and all the rest. And it's not just a business thing. That's what gets me, is because it is actually the reason that people gather at those events is also sharing and putting out the energy of what is from within them to put it out, to have people become aware of their own gifts and talents as well, because that brings them into inquiry and finding out more. What are these crystals about? Oh, what actually is psychic mediumship? What actually is, even with the, you know, that, the marijuana ore, but it's not marijuana. It's the, that you know, the CBD stuff. That stuff. You know, it is a cannabis oil, but it's not the high thingy. You know, all the information that's there to help others. And I think, wow, I mean, we don't give enough credit for the farmers markets and the psychic expos and the other events like the Gummarakas medieval fairs coming up. And there's another one going to be in the Barossa. And you sort of think it's so much that is put into creating, managing, and actually holding those events for people to come and inquire and find out more. Sure. Just opening up that ability for people to become more aware, don't you think? I mean, what sort of questions do people actually ask when they're walking past at fairs.
You quite often get a real range of them, especially about the products and stuff, because I'm very fortunate lately. My mum and dad have been coming to do the stall while I read sort of things. So, when I had 3-4 boxes or whatever it was arrive a week ago, mum and dad came and they spent the day unpacking it while I was pricing it and putting it on the shelf and stuff. And then we pack it all up and then we take it to market and all that sort of thing. So it's like moving house. But you do, and it's interesting the different questions that you do get, because everybody's questions are very different, because a lot of it is to do with crystals and what do I need to help me with this and stuff like that. And it's things that people connect with, they resonate with. So, we're all individuals. We all get drawn to different things in that way. So, yeah.
So it is that opening of inquiry. People are moving around and about and actually wanting to learn more. Obviously, the thing that we're actually providing to with these sorts of shows is, an opportunity to answer some questions that might be posed, and putting out that we are in it for an income, and the deeper meaning, the deeper readings and the rest. We do have our own areas where you can, do the online bookings and the rest, which are in the links, whichever way they turn up. I don't know on a phone. Or iPad, actually, for that matter. There's somewhere. Have a look around, Spiritual Sparks and Hypnosis Plus. You'll find it. Or just search our names, turn up. So, share it around that is what we do. You can get the deeper meaning, deeper in-depth readings as well. But we will get on to some of these readings now, because that's sort of what I was leading into, because I don't really want to leave you out of not having anything answered with what we talk about. But also with the understanding that it's not going to be, potentially there isn't going to be absolutely every one of them read, every one of these questions answered in a session that we have on a Tuesday. Leanne has the one on the Wednesday nights. It's more of a straight reading session, isn't it? Wednesday nights. And even tonight, Yvonne and yourself are online as well. So there's certainly plenty of avenues that you can catch up with Leanne. I'm only doing this one yet as a regular. Whether the astrology with Leonie develops to being regular, I don't know. It could be something that'll crop up. Yeah, and you don't know. I could try it too. I don't know.
That's it, exactly. And that's the thing. We don't just want to be about all the readings all the time. We'd like to educate people. We'd like you to understand why things happen in your life, why you're drawn to certain things, or seeing or sensing or feeling or whatever sort of thing, because, we've been doing this long enough that we've built up our own experiences. But Ros and I have done a fair bit of study between the two of us as well on different subjects and stuff. So we can share our knowledge with you guys, and if you guys have got questions, we're happy to answer them out, as well as the reading sort of side of it.
Absolutely. So you express it a bit simpler than I do. I'll waffle on. And leading into that is, answering some questions. And I thought, is there anything that sticks out for you? Oh, the reminder too, questions. It's a lot easier to answer specific questions. Just thought I'd put that in before you start, Leanne. Sorry.
Yeah, beautiful. No, all good. And guys, don't forget to hit the share button and invite friends and family to join in as well, because you never know when some of this information or a reading may resonate with them at the same time. So, Ashton, okay, hun. I just get stop and breathe with your energy, honey. I do feel that things have been quite heightened lately, and I just sort of feel like there's a little bit of anxiety around you currently. So I do feel that it's important for you to take some time for yourself and focus on you. You're busy focusing on everybody else, so whether it's family or those around you, I just get the reference to ground your energy. Bring your focus out of your head, down to your feet, feel Mother Earth's under your feet, and just breathe, and you will center that energy. this, the universal energy, as we spoke about before, is really testing at the moment. So just breathe through it, honey, and I do feel things will move. Okay.
I better just
That's
drop
pretty
that
card.
Oops, I'm going to turn the frame off now too. What was surrounding us was actually a new frame I created. So
I couldn't see it,
might not have noticed it because in the back end you don't see that fancy stuff. I do because I'm the one hosting it. But yeah, so Ashton, this is the card, and in the Lenormand deck that I got there, I actually went out and bought the expanded deck, and this is the second choice of the bird card. Now, and what Shaz and I were learning over the weekend, you just take the literal meaning, it's birds. What do birds do? They fly free and they chatter. But I'm still going to go with how I actually see the card and using my intuition. It's more, we all know that the owl is directly linked pretty much to wisdom and knowledge and learning, and actually, it's the sitting and contemplating, the seeing all and the understanding all. So I think it's probably also a time where for yourself, you probably need to also take that time to sit in what you know within yourself as well, and allow that to become that knowledge that moves to wisdom instead of just a head knowledge, but it actually moves to wisdom and action. Okay, so that's what I excuse me. Now we'll go back to that and I'll find the next card because I'm just starting from the bottom of the list, which is how I do it. And here's a question from Natasha. Now, this is a little more specific, and I'll go up so we can see it better. Is Cheryl doing okay, and is she with Kelly finally? So that's more a medium one, which is your forte.
Yeah. I do. And now I know Cheryl only passed about a week ago, honey. So, and that's because Natasha has reached out to me earlier last week when Cheryl did pass. And I get, very much with Kelly. I do feel her energy is a little bit weak at the moment, but that is normal because she's going through the healing process. I don't know if Cheryl couldn't speak in the end, but I'm very much drawn to the throat chakra area with that. So I'm going to say the communication side was a little bit hard in the lead up to her death, but I do feel that she is very much at rest. She's doing the healing process and that she's okay, and she is definitely with Kelly. I want to say Kelly was there to help her cross over. So I do feel before Cheryl's actual letting go of the physical side that she sensed Kelly there to help her make that transition across to the other side so she wasn't alone, honey. Okay, sending you big hugs and love. Beautiful card. Roz, we can't hear you, hun. Well, I can't.
Yeah, I muted it while I was shuffling the cards.
You did a lottie.
You want to show my face?
I could just see your chin out the bottom of the card moving.
Embarrassment.
I love it.
Sorry, as I said, it's so beautifully. I'm feeling the sense of her shining light moving out further and further as she's growing in her strength on the other side. So that's what I was getting. Sorry. Now, I mute myself when I'm shuffling the cards or not?
I'm sure I put a smile on Natasha's face, which is probably really neat at the moment.
Now, Rachel is asking for a bit more of a general guidance, I think, here. So,
Rachel, I get while you shuffle, I'll talk. Honey, when I read your question, I get the books put in front of you. So whether you're looking at paperwork or it's based around work at the moment, I just get the need to sort of focus on what is coming up at the moment. Okay. I just feel like you're bogged down at the moment, and it's that feeling this energy will soon shift. You will find that it will move in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I feel that there's major shift around that. Okay, things are going to become a lot more clearer for you with that side of it. Just remember to ground and to breathe yourself, ground yourself and breathe, because that's going to raise that energy around you and move that head fog, so to speak, at the moment. Okay, I'm going to say keep your chin up. Just keep pushing through this energy, and it's going to be okay. All right.
And I'm going to try holding up 3 cards, because as I was shuffling, there was 3 cards that actually jumped out. The first is wrong side. I'm not quite sure which order, but that's the one I'll read first. It's a letter and message of something that's going to be a 2 choice. Am I pointing right? This is interesting. Yep. It's different pathways, 2 choices, or it could be even more, but I am feeling it's a difference of 2. And once decided, staying strong in what it is that choice is that you're going to be making, because it will be the right one. So
the way the polar bear is putting its head out of the water to breathe.
Yeah, it's actually, some of the keywords, I sort of vaguely remember it meaning mother as well as to what one teacher was describing as a keyword. It is about strength. I mean, even my own meaning around that card is very much a strength card. So pathways, I mean, that's what I like about the Lenormand, is because they do come up with a fairly specific just the one word without a huge amount of interpretation, but it can be very detailed with the grand tableau. So very interesting. There's quite a few readers, I think, growing into like doing the Lenormands now. So, where's Newfoundland? Just going to show that one. Where's Newfoundland? Do you know? Is that?
I would say it's in a snowy country.
It's not Australia.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture in the snow and the beautiful birds on a timeline side.
A lady from the United States. Hi, how are you? It would actually be pretty late there now, I would think, from memory. I haven't got my world clock up. And Steph is wanting a card, so I'll quickly shuffle those. Actually, do that. I'm just wondering where Steph is. Have you seen her name before? She's not a previous client.
No, I don't think so. So welcome, honey, if you're new.
Welcome. It's only the one that came up, and that was, I'll do solo and drop the comment, to do with child. So somewhere in your influence there is, I'm actually feeling it's more like a childlike energy myself rather than a baby. But what do you feel around that, Leanne? You have a little bit better connection with that sort of energy. I think that, keeping an open mind around how you're seeing things as well, that it's as a child.
Look within that inner child, honey, around you, because I just feel like it's like I need to reflect back on the past. The sort of side of it is what I was drawn to with that card. All right.
Yeah. So
that's
no,
what stuck out.
Which one are we doing?
We did Stacey Holland. She asked for a card.
Anything for me, please. Oh, that was the next one. It was Steph who wanted a card, and Stacey's just asking anything for me, please.
Was it a Steph Holland? Or was I just imagining the Holland name coming up?
Steph Holland with the card. Oh, hang on. Show up. Sometimes the buttons don't work first up. Yeah, so that's the one we just did with the card, wasn't it? The child. Yeah. Yep. And the next one. Oh, that's it. And now the next one. They're just too similar.
Yeah, beautiful. Good morning, honey. I love your energy. I'm going to say that straight away. You've got a beautiful energy, very balanced. I want to say just be careful, because I feel people get drawn to you. Sorry, I'm going to cough. Mute myself. I get the feeling that people get very drawn to you, hun, and you take on their energy. I feel your throat chakra is very blocked at the moment. So whether there's things you're needing to speak out or needing to communicate, I just get the reference to look at the communication side of things at the moment for you and just be aware of what's going on around that. I'll let Ross do the card.
Yeah, which would have been very interesting. I nearly, whoops, hang on, solo to me. Sorry. I left it on Leanne again. The controls are interesting. As I pulled this one up, you were saying about caution. I thought, caution, you're going to fall, because my eye went straight to the mouse having a wonderful time swinging, having, that swinging, but I think he's actually gnawing away at what effectively is his rope that is the swing that's supporting him. So, and that caution word. So I think there's probably also something that's coming up that you just need to be aware of, something that you can't actually see with your naked eye that's being whittled away by a nibbly type something. No, I'm not getting anything specific on it. But just there is a bit of a caution. They probably check some electrical wires around the place too. And mouse season is starting to come up with it coming into a winter. It's a few months away, but sometimes those sorts of things you need to actually keep an eye on as well. And so here's Robin.
Would love some guidance on my colonoscope. It's not
From
one to be nervous about. Yeah, you go for it. I've never had one.
I've had several. And I'll drop the comment there. There's nothing to really be worried about with a colonoscopy. I'm assuming that you're going to be put under the general. So once you're actually there and having the process, there's nothing that you remember about it really. It's only if you tend to have issues around anesthetics and the rest, just treat it the same as you normally would at any other time. Have fun taking the preparation. That is not comfortable. It can be annoying because you will be stay next to your loo a lot. But it's the process of actually, it is checking the internal area of the bowel, as you know. That's why it's called the colonoscopy. It really isn't anything to be nervous about, but I know that each time I've gone in, I have been nervous. Just be reassured that everything will be okay.
Yeah. I hear polyps. I don't know, honey, if you've got a polyp, or they might find something like a polyp with that. You have to let me know.
Well, they do usually cauterize those at the time if they're small enough.
Yep.
Because
I don't get those anything. I don't get any warning bells or anything go off, honey.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I've just pulled that. I just got guided to pull that off the top, and it's just the ship. So whatever's going through will travel through.
Yep. It certainly will. Get that out.
Sorry, Pam, how are you?
Okay. Okay, I got spirit catching my attention out the corner of my eye over there. I love a reading it. Okay, now, hun, I don't know what the need is to wipe the eyes, or if that's something that you do at times with just a way of stopping breathing, the frustration sort of feeling with that sort of side of it. I do have a gentleman that steps in around you. Now, I'm not sure if I've got the father figure or the grandfather, because I actually feel they are both the same. So if Dad's still here for you, I get the grandfather figure. If Dad's passed, I feel like I've got the two there with him in that side, and I just get the acknowledgement of being very similar. They're mirroring each other, okay? I've got the hand on the heart, but I also feel like I've passed with heart, lung, chest issues with that side of it. I want to talk really quickly with this gentleman's energy, and I just get the reference to very much driven, very much passionate about families sort of thing with that side of it. For some reason, I've been taken to both my knees, so whether he had knee issues or you're having the knee issues. I actually feel like he had knee issues, and I feel like I'm trying to stand tall, but I'm shrinking at the same time. And I love the way he laughed at the way he said he was getting smaller with that. You may find yourself getting the tickle to the back of the head because he just shows me that he plays in the back of your hair, so he'll touch the back of your head to let you know that he is very much around you. Okay, I get the love, the pride that is very strong there. Okay, so I'll leave you with his love. Well, that's a pretty card. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, this is one of the extras in the expanded Lenormand deck that I've got. I just love Zero Marcelli's artwork. And, I mean, even if it was just a word written on a piece of paper that was held up, it's still got the same energy around it. But it just expands. It just adds to it when you've got beautiful artwork. And anyone that's a palm reader would definitely be able to read my palm like that. I just noticed it. It's a magnifying glass. So it's actually looking more in more detail around something that you're looking at. I'm actually feeling that it's as you first comment, you know, as I put it up on screen, it was something that was there. I felt there was a looking up and around, but that's not where you should be looking. It is internalize it and look more deeply within you for what you need to know as your own answers instead of looking externally from other people. It is know your heart. So I loved how Leanne was getting the messages for you there too, as to, you know, it's that love, it's family, it's looking within. You've got what you need within you. So now, oops, I've got to go up like that so I can read it a bit better. It's Nita's. Hi, I've been seeing double numbers every time I check the time for the last 3 months. Could you let me know if there's any messages regarding this double numbers? Now, double numbers is usually associated with angels, and you know, it strengthens the meaning of that number. For instance, the 11, the 22, it's strengthening the 1, the 2, the 3 if you're saying them. What else have you got on that, Leanne?
Yeah, and it's very much around it. So I know the 1-1, the 11-11 is very much around spirit being around you. The 4's around your angels, indirect messages. Every number has a different meaning. I would recommend, if you've got a smartphone, which most of us do have these days, Doreen Virtue has a really nice app that is about $6-7 Australian that you can have on your phone. You put the number in that you're seeing and it will give you the message of those numbers, what it means. So I don't remember the choices.
Yeah, I don't either, but that's funny. 22, double number.
Yeah, I just seen the 2 doorways. I didn't actually see the number.
Yeah, so there you go. I take that as meaning, something's happening around you that's got some pretty strong influence and you need to be listening. So that's how I'd see it.
And when you see those numbers come up, take note of what's going on around you at that time, honey, okay, because I'm trying to get your attention. All right. So, hey, Samara, sorry, honey. Hi, ladies. Any romance engagement-wise? I do feel that ring's coming. All right. I keep getting you pushing, and he's just quite content at the moment, but I do feel that it is coming. I don't know what the tiredness is with you at the moment.
Yeah, that's the feeling I had as it was coming up. Sort of, I don't know, is it a yes or a no? But I think, it's a patience thing. You know, the wobbly energy, it needs to calm down.
And is he trying to teach you patience at the moment? Because there was a bit of laughter around that. Oh, I love it. Hey, Natalie. Your business, I just feel like I've got change of direction coming around that, hun. So whether you're looking at adding something to your business or doing other things outside of what you are doing now, I just feel like I've got change being put there, but it's a positive change. So I do feel things will pick up. See that money coming in, that growth. Okay.
And the card that you've got, this is another one of the expanded cards. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what the actual name is on it, because in what Shaz and I did, we didn't do past the 36, which is the normal Lenormand deck. Looking at it, what do you get? It is bridges. So I think you're building new bridges to expand. So that's, to me, for a business, is pretty good. One of the things that I learnt when I was in business with my ex-husband, which the business itself is actually still going, and it is that if you're not, with growth, there needs to be some planning. Because the way that we initially did that was letting it grow organically, etc., and it was forever the climbing, and it did seem like the mountain to climb. It was climbing up, getting another loan to cover this that was expanding, and getting another, and it almost seemed like it was forever the mountain that had the equal mountain of debt to go with it. Do plan, see financial planners, do see your tax agent, your tax accountant, or whoever you need to make sure that what you are doing is going to be worth that effort. Okay? So that's all I offer as far as a business type advice. And we might need to make this the last one, because my clock on the computer just looks like it's saying 11:31. And we don't like that over. We've all got
I got a pile of paperwork and plans to put in place.
I go volunteering this afternoon in a second-hand shop, so I sort of got to fit in lunch and stuff too. So, but anyway, elderly parents moving into a unit next door. So, do we see them moving into a unit next door?
Okay, yes. Yeah, I do think it's going to happen quite as quickly as you would like it to, but I do get yes.
Yeah,
with that side of it.
And the other part that hit me first is it what you want? And I only ask that because, having had the experience of actually moving into look after my mum in her home, which I've now bought and living in. But is it really what you want? Because I did get comments around, that's a big thing to do and the rest. But I chose to. It wasn't something I was forced into, pressure to, or otherwise. So my answer to people that would say, is that what you wanted to do? Yes, it isn't what you want. And I do feel, yes, it is going to happen, and you can feel comfortable in what you've decided to do with your parents. So is that about all for that one, wasn't it? So thank you, everyone. Now, I nearly got up to where was the 11 o'clock mark. I'm just trying to mark it on the back end. Because on the back end of where we've got our Be Live, to those that don't know it, there is a little time tag line thing. So I've gotten up to 10:58. I need to mark that so I know when I go back to watch the replay, I know where to go and do the rest, because I'll try to get back to actually pull cards for those who haven't been able to have that happen in the live, okay?
Yeah.
So is there anything that you want to finish off with, Leanne, since we have sort of got to the end of the time?
Yeah, I just want to say, Robin, you'll be okay, honey. Last time was different. She was just saying last time she died after her last surgery. So I do feel that it'll be okay. So see it being okay. And if anybody would like to make a booking, Ros and I both do one-question readings. You can certainly click on the links to our page and come through and make a booking with that. So you can either do you have a calendar link to your page? I know I do.
Look, I tried sorting out how it works. I know on my Hypnosis Plus with Ros, there is a link to a booking that I don't know that it shows up as a calendar, but when you choose the service, like, the short reading, I can't even remember how I've worded it now. It does go to a link that chooses the calendar and the payment process and all that. Because it is, it's not actually PayPal enabled, it's Stripe, but it's still a credit card or whatever. If you have any issues with either of our booking systems, just ask, send a message.
Definitely.
You know.
We can always book you in the background sort of side of it as well. So, but I just want to say, just allow this energy to move and take some time for yourself. Let go of the frustrations and all that stuff, the communication issues and technology issues and stuff that are coming up, and just breathe through it. It will soon pass. Okay. So, I just wish you all a very good week, and thank you, Roz.
Yep. I flicked back too quick for me because I was just going to. So, look, it'll never be perfect. And do you really care? No, it's not the callousness. It's just that sometimes it does take a little bit to get the timing right. There are time lags between what I do and when you see it on your screen, as far as any live streaming platform of any type. There is always a time lag. And it does take a little bit to get used to, and that's fine. Look, we're presenting them, be experienced, and move off to that side or whatever side's the past, and be in your present moment. You can look to the future, but don't count on it. It's not there yet. It's not here yet. We're in now. Enjoy your day, and until next week, we'll see you then. Oh, and for the other shows that we do, keep an eye on us.
We're always putting up something. Bye.
See you, everyone.